Stephen King's The Dark Tower is surprisingly light. Seriously, I was expecting it to be so dark and terrifying you couldn't even see it. The Dark Tower, directed by Nicola Arkle, and is an adaptation of the Stephen King novel of the same name. So The Dark Tower tells the story of Jake Chambers. He's having these nightmares and premonitions about a strange gunslinger named Roland who's on a mission to take down the Dark Tower and is locked in a battle with the villainous Walter. And there we have our movie. Now, I have heard of the book The Dark Tower, and I've heard it's wildly interesting because obviously Stephen King is the king of horror stories. He wrote classics like It, so we're also getting an adaptation later this year, and I can't wait to pick up the book for myself. But I nonetheless had zero interest in this movie. The trailers did nothing for me, and judging by that 17% on Rotten Tomatoes, it's not looking pretty. And after giving it a chance, well, I don't think it's as god-awful or as bad as the critics are claiming it to be, but it's not good. It's just meh. August has always been a disappointing month for summer movies. All the best summer movies are saved for July, whereas all the worst ones are just dumped out in August. August is the dumping ground for bad summer movies. So I'm sorry I haven't reviewed many recent August releases. The only one I have really reviewed is the Emoji Movie, which we all know is one of the biggest disgraces to movies in a long time indeed. Thankfully, The Dark Tower is nowhere near as bad as that. I did say I didn't call The Dark Tower terrible, just okay. So let's start with the positives, even though there aren't many, but Idris Elba is by far the best thing about this movie. Wow, he is the only performance that genuinely has a badass quality to it, and he's showing charisma frequently, yeah. And I found his character, Roland the Gunslinger, to be pretty damn cool. I mean, without him, this movie would have been solely lacking in characters. Idris Elba, you are growing on me as an actor, man. First, you were Shere Khan, and now Roland. Two timeless roles, and I at least cared about Jake Chambers as a character. The kid actor did a decent job, nothing amazing, but enough to make me get behind him, and his friendship with Roland was quite neat. Yes, I brought the bond between Roland and this kid, as he was helping this kid basically, avenge his family against Walter, and I thought his mother was really solid, played by Catherine Winnerwick, because she was the only member of Jake's family that had a point in the movie, and she obviously was helping him trying to move on from the loss of his father, which at least added some heart to the movie. The movie, also being based on a Stephen King novel, obviously has a nice visual style to it. Visually, it's exactly how we envisioned a movie adaptation of The Dark Tower would look, but there was one visual that did disappoint me, which leads us into the negatives, as this movie is far from the masterpiece it could have been. If I could sum it up in 2 words: wasted potential. It took Stephen King's awesome and dark and smart writing and turned it into such a generic good versus evil story that we've seen a bajillion times in these kind of blockbusters. villain played by Matthew McConaughey, Walter. He's a awful villain. He sucks. He's the worst villain I've seen all year, or at least one of them. I mean, I was never intimidated by him. I just laughed when he had said his line that he kills people with "Don't breathe." Yeah. Well done, writers. I'm sorry, but his performance, it's so fucking bad. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets nominated for a Razzie. Yeah, he really let this movie down. And Jake's stepfather, who's obviously his mother's second husband, he was pointless. So he added nothing to the movie story-wise. You could have removed him and just had his mother. And the movie's far too short. It's only like an hour and 35 minutes running time, and that's not nearly enough time to have a satisfying adaptation of a Stephen King novel. You needed more time to develop the characters as so we could have a clearer understanding of what was going on, and further expand the story, and have the movie just, it felt like it went by far too fast. I mean, there was no time to breathe or get to know the characters. And the Dark Tower itself, it's the only effect in the movie that underwhelmed me. It looked so dull. It was just a rip-off of Barad-dûr from Mordor in Lord of the Rings. I'm not kidding, you just had to put Sauron's eye at the top of that thing and it would be Barad-dûr. And due to the generic story, I got bored. The film's pacing too rushed, but because of how boring it is and how the lack of substance, it feels way longer than it actually is. So I was this close to taking a nap. I couldn't care less for this story. Hell, I wish I was reading the book right now instead of watching this inferior adaptation. And even the soundtrack is far too plain and never stands out. I mean, there's so little in this movie that stands out. No wonder it's a bombing at the box office. I mean, this is going to be one of the biggest flops of 2017, period. And Stephen King, I think he would be very unsatisfied with this adaptation of his work. I mean, overall, guys, The Dark Tower, it's at least not one of the worst movies of 2017. Far from it, despite all my ranting. But it's so weak. It's completely mediocre. It should have been better, much better. And we're also getting an adaptation of Stephen King's It in a month's time. 2 Stephen King movies in 1 year. Woohoo! Aren't we lucky? And I'm really hoping that's good. I am really hoping it makes us forget about The Dark Tower. I would suggest for The Dark Tower, you can just, skip this movie and just read the book instead. I give The Dark Tower 2 stars out of 5. Well, guys, this is probably my first below average review for a movie in a while now, since have been reviewing the Planet of the Apes and Pixar reviews. Most of them have been 5 stars out of 5, but my reviews can't all be rave ones. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And what did you think of The Dark Tower? Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow me on Twitter and on Google+. And I'll see you next time when I have a review of Valorian for you, which I also recently saw. Sorry that's late. And we'll be continuing my Pixar reviews with A Bug's Life and my Planet of the Apes reviews with Beneath the Planet of the Apes. All of them to look forward to. And I'll see you then. Bye, guys.